Webby, Dylan Edwards ruled out, James Tedesco brought in. What's the latest? What can you tell us?
That's exactly what's happened. So, excuse me, Dylan Edwards strained his quad, doing extras after an opposed session yesterday afternoon up there in the Blue Mountains. According to the Blues, who I spoke to this morning, it's a strain. He'll be out for 2 weeks. If he played, the medical advice was he was a very strong chance of tearing it and would have been out for an extended period of time. So the New South Wales Rugby League had to get approval off the ARL Commission for him to come in because he wasn't in their 20-man squad. I spoke to Peter V'landys, they weren't going to stand in his way. I spoke to the QRL, Ben Eichen, they're happy for him to come in. So they wanted to get it through as quickly as possible because obviously with Teddy playing for the Roosters today. So it's a pretty significant development this morning.
Is this a new injury, Webby, for Edwards, or did he have something carrying into the camp at all?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I don't think Madge would have let him in.
And it's
Are they up still in the Blue Mountains at the moment, or are they coming?
They're coming down to Sydney Olympic Park to the Pullman Hotel today.
And so it's about a 2-week injury. Is that what?
Yeah, I'm told that he won't play the next 2 weeks for the Panthers, but he will be available for game 2.
So how many training sessions? I'll have 2 maybe, 1 today and a captain's run.
Captain's run Tuesday, and then.
So has Nico trained? Do you know?
Yes. Yeah, he's been training. He missed the first one, and then he's been training throughout the week.
So once again, all new combinations with Teddy going to fullback, and fullback in rep games or any game is so important. So limited preparation for New South Wales, but I think it's really good that they get the experience of Tedesco because Nico's played 1 game off the bench, Jerome's played 7, and Reece Robson's played 1 start and 1 off the bench, so at least you give you some experience.
I think it says a lot about Tedesco and the Roosters. Like, the Roosters didn't hesitate to release him at all, and Teddy apparently just said straight away, I'm available. So, you know, I think it says a lot about his humility, and I know the Roosters get bashed up a lot, but Michael Maguire and Trent Robinson were talking all the way through this, and they weren't going to stand in his way at all.
Obviously, James Tedesco, he's the ultimate professional. What would it be like for him, though, in the situation that he's in? He's been overlooked for State of Origin. He's had the captaincy taken away from him, and now he's been called in at the last minute.
Well, Freddie, you came back when Denny Badiris was captain. How was that?
It was fun. Different circumstances, obviously, because Teddy wasn't chosen from a point of view of, he would have felt dropped. But I think Teddy's the sort of bloke who will just see this as the greatest opportunity to prove himself. I think what he's done, he had a quiet year a couple of years ago, and ever since then he's just gone through a bit of a change, changed his game. I think a lot of that attacking stuff, he's gotten better at that. And, also how he gets the ball. He's, he was used to... when he was frustrated, he'd come in, go to dummy half or first receiver, and now thinks a bit more about where he's getting the ball. So I think he's made some big changes. That's why I was surprised actually he didn't get picked in the first place. But he'll see this as a massive challenge to be able to prove not only to the coach but to everyone that he's the number 1 man.
I mean, he could have a blinder, right? And now all of a sudden Edwards is ready for game 2, and man of the match in game 1, Teddy. Will have an absolute blinder.
Stormer.
Yeah.
Could you imagine when he comes into camp and there's a knock on the door? Come in, Jake. Jake Trbojevic. Oh, Teddy, I'm so sorry. Well, it would have been like Denny Badiris. You got 2 of the world's nicest blokes in Denny Badiris and Jake Trbojevic. But well done to Jakey. I think it's great that Jake Trbojevic is captaining our state, and he'll lead from the front.
What do you think that conversation would have been like between Michael Maguire and James Tedesco?
Fine. He's a really good fella. I think he goes to show the character of Tedesco. The first first person that rung Dylan Edwards was James Tedesco.
I don't know if it would have been fine, but I think it would have been as least amount of words as possible. And the thing is, he's given him an opportunity. Yeah. So I think it works. I don't know how warm it's going to be. Like if you ever got dropped, you're not feeling good about it. So it'd be as least amount of words. You got an opportunity to do a job here, and I think he's definitely the man to be able to do it. A lot couldn't walk into that scenario, but I think he can.
I reckon he would have moved past the disappointment by now, though. Like, he would have moved past that disappointment this week. There's been a week since the selection was made for this first-up game. He was in preparation for today's match against the Cowboys. Like Freddie just mentioned, it's an opportunity for Teddy. It's a second opportunity that he may have thought he would never have got ever again. Say Dylan Edwards goes out, New South Wales wins his first match, he plays really well. He may not ever play for New South Wales again, but he gets another opportunity. He's already played 22. So he's gonna go out there and make the most of this opportunity.
You know what it's like later in your career? Sometimes you need a bit of extra motivation, and there's no better motivation is to prove people wrong. Getting a kick in the backside and then coming out and saying, well, I'm going to show you. So, and Teddy, good luck.
On top of that too, like, he doesn't have that added pressure of having the C next to his name now. He can just go out there and concentrate on his role, which I think he's going to revel in.
What about for Dylan Edwards? Where does that leave him and his Origin future? If Teddy comes out, has an absolute blinder, you're forcing the coach's hand.
That's an awkward situation.
It's devastating for Dylan, without a doubt. But he'll be back there. What's Dylan, 28?
Yeah.
He's still got another 4 or 5 years at least.
It must have been bad because he's got such a high pain threshold, Dylan
Played
Edwards.
a grand final with a broken foot.
That's right, that whole final series with a broken foot. Like, I think people sort of underestimate what he did that year, that final series. So
Well, it must have
him to be
slowed
out,
him down. Like, I don't think the pain's the problem. It must have affected him, his speed.
Well, it's a
and,
selfless
his
decision.
confidence. Yeah,
So the way that he did it, according to the Blues, is so they were doing extras after this opposed session against Penrith SG ball team, and it was like the drill where he was catching the ball and accelerating.
Yep.
So that's when he did the injury or the
Well, they brought him
strain.
down in air.
Sorry.
Well, Freddie's into energy and all that. You imagine the nerves and the stress going through his body.
absolutely.
That could have contributed.
The other thing about Teddy too is there's been a lot of great performances on players that have come in late into camp because, you know what, it's less stress. You haven't had to deal with much, you haven't thought about it as much, and all of a sudden you're like, bang, here I am, ready to go. I'm a couple of days out.
Brett Finch.
Brett Finch killed it.
You don't have too much time
Actually,
to think about things going through
That's
your
right.
mind.
Matthew Gidley actually came in on the Dover game and had an absolute blinder. Awesome.
What about for New South Wales, though, in the fact that the combinations? Because you're looking at, say, players who haven't been able to train. Joey mentioned it earlier, with Nico Hines sitting out the first few tests, the first few matches.
Yeah, it's not ideal. It's not ideal. I went through it last night, and with the spine plus the jersey 14 for Queensland, it adds up to 71 games of experience. DCE, Harry Grant, all these sort of players, Ben Hunt. Where New South Wales, without Teddy, I think it was 10 games.
The other part is too, there's no cover. There's no cover for the hooker really, and there's no cover for the halfback or the halves.
Haven't they said Cameron McInnes can play in the
Well, Cam McInnes
He's been playing lock.
Cam McInnes will cover Reece Robson at dummy half.
Yeah.
Like, he's played plenty of games, first grade games at dummy
He's been
half.
played
but
there for a while.
It's the halves that's the issue.
No, I heard him say Cam McInnes started in the halves when he was young, but
No,
playing under
please.
16s.